Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW's Fight for the Fallen, which was taking place, taking the place of AEW Dynamite yet again on Wednesday. So, how did it go for them on what is basically their third week in a row of a pay-per-view quality show? At least that was the implication. What I think of the show. I thought it was a pretty good show. I don't know what else to say beyond that. There were surprises that were interesting and got my attention. They opened the show, I think, in a very smart way. Cody Rhodes, by the way, if you're on his text group, which I imagine many people are, him texting out at 7:20 to say, I'm going to be the first match. Again, I think this is a proper and smart way to utilize this stuff. Really smart. So we go into the match. We just go right into things, right? We start the show and we just jump right into it. So we got Sonny Kiss and Cody Rhodes. Well, we don't just jump right into it. They do promote some things. Sonny Kiss and Cody Rhodes, the Lucha Brothers against FTR, the Jurassic Express versus the Elite. In this case, the Elite being Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and Brian Cage against Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight title. Then we go into the first match. Cody with Arn comes to the ring. They do their bit. Arn's got strategies. Sonny Kiss entering second, I thought was fantastic because Sonny Kiss coming to the ring with the fucking Jacksonville cheerleaders was already awesome. The fact that they had a mutual choreography thing, that was terrible. That Sonny Kiss was dancing in lockstep with the cheerleaders and looked every bit a star. These things don't get discussed very often, but there's a way to, and I hate to say this because I'm probably going to have to go back on it, hopefully later on in general, but there's just an indie look and then there's a big time look. And this was Sonny Kiss's big time look, not just because of the entrance that Sonny Kiss received, but working in lockstep with the cheerleaders, the whole yellow ensemble, like all of it screamed not indie to me. And that doesn't seem like a big deal. It is a big deal because at the end of the day, the bell-to-bell of the match is of less consequence than long-term appearance. I thought Joey Janela not being with Sonny Kiss was the right move. I thought, now that doesn't bode well for their quote-unquote team necessarily, but at the end of the day, this was Sonny Kiss's real establishment as a star. Now, did this make Sonny Kiss a main eventer? No. But did it make Sonny Kiss something of significance? Absolutely. The match is what the match was. Sonny Kiss got in Sonny Kiss spots. And really, Cody won going away. This wasn't one of the Cody matches where the person really pushes him to the absolute limit. Arn did have some great facial expressions of, uh-oh, Cody's in trouble, and that kind of thing. But I think this was a foregone conclusion match, but that wasn't really the point to me. The point was Sonny Kiss being put on the map, and not just in a symbolic, oh, Sonny Kiss is LGBTQ, and there's been people who weren't happy about him getting this match, and blah, blah, blah. And Sonny Kiss's response, by the way, I thought was really smart and really pro. I mean, it was heartfelt, don't get me wrong, but I think Sonny Kiss's reaction going into the match, the stuff that I read online, was really great. Cody healing it up a bit, being aggressive to the point where it placed Sonny in the role of the kind of de facto babyface, I thought was really smart and subtle. I've been very critical that AEW makes their refs look stupid. I'm certainly not the only one. But small stuff like this, where they did spots on the little ramp that's on same level as the ring, went into the ring, and then Cody went for a pin. But Aubrey caught the fact that she shouldn't count that pin because Cody's legs were outside of the ring, underneath the bottom rope. Small stuff like that, I think, will go a long way to repairing the sort of reputation of the referees and just establishing enough of the rules of the physics of the AEW world so that then you can do things with the referee you couldn't do otherwise. Giving the referees credibility is just part and parcel of running a real show. And so I really liked it. Cody wins, hitting just one crossroads, not 87 of them, which is appropriate. Had what appeared to be an incredibly genuine moment with Sunny Kiss afterwards. Just really great. We're talking about Fight for the Fallen. They talk about Mox versus Cage. The Nightmare Sisters. Now they're officially the Nightmare Sisters. Allie and Brandy, they're going to be wrestling. I would presume in a squash match that you would find on AEW Dark. So I found that a little strange, but I guess they're trying to move the angle onto there. They've done a good job of sort of hiding the fact that QT hasn't been here for weeks. Really good. Jericho's going to speak. The Elite versus Jurassic Express. Lucha Brothers against FTR. The commentary team of Taz, Excalibur, and JR is really cool. I don't like three-person teams, but if you got to give me one, I think this is the best one you can give me. Not that Tony Schiavone doesn't do a great job, but Tony Schiavone is really great in the other roles, and he can't do everything. And I think if you got to sacrifice one, sacrifice commentary, because Tony Schiavone, even hosting that Puppy Bowl thing, he was great. Every time he does an interview, he's great. And his little interactions with Britt Baker, to me, feel really kind of silly and throwback to WCW in the worst of ways. And so for that reason alone, I don't think they should do them. Not that I would be adverse to the two of them having moments together, but when it's constantly going back and forth, the commentary doesn't really help anything. I'm glad they've stopped the Britt Baker sending notes thing to the commentary table. I don't think that worked. All right, we're getting into match number 2, Lucha Brothers with Butcher and Baker in the truck. They pull up in the big truck. They pull up in FTR's truck. Jim Ross, who goes on these, just gets these things in his head that are so stupid. This one was, how come the authorities don't know about that stolen car? And he brought it up more than once, and I hate it. Jim Ross, why? So when the Horsemen attacked Dusty, like around a truck outside of the arena, why the fuck weren't the cops called then? That would seem a much more logical thing. How about the good old answer of FTR wants to handle it themselves? How come someone just doesn't answer that question themselves, or Jim Ross just doesn't bring that up? You know, it's the kind of thing where authorities should be involved, but FTR wants to take care of this themselves. And it's a done fucking deal. I just don't get the Jim Ross thing of pointing things out in a critical fashion to make things look bad. It's like he's putting himself over at the expense. Now, you might argue about I brought up this thing called the Mercutio factor before, where if you have somebody point out things that are inconsistent or silly or stupid, then that takes away the power to critique them, but that's not what's happening here. Anyway, we got a match, and it's a good one. They get the honor of a split screen with the commercial break, and then we come back. The finish is brilliant. I'm messing with the mask, which distracts the Lucha Brothers enough that they get the pin, because that mask is put. So now that mask has been put over extra. FTR gets the win. It showed that they're strategic and smart about how they're going to win, and a little underhanded, willing to do what it takes to win. And the Lucha Brothers really lose nothing. No problem with any of it. The Bucks come out against Butcher and Blade and super kicks them to basically give FTR their truck back. Then Omega shows up. Again, I like how things are flowing one to another. Omega shows up and brings beer to make up for the fact that he was kind of an ass for rejecting their offer of beer before. They pour the beers on Omega. Again, ways of getting the heat that aren't pull-apart brawls. I like it. One little side note. FTR gets back in their truck and they can't start their own fucking truck, and it looked stupid. I know they wanted the dramatic they drive off thing, but boy, can we practice starting the truck next time, because that looked really fucking terrible. I'm probably the only person who noticed to that degree and is pointing it out, but it's details like that that are just... Go to commercial, we come back. Jericho's coming to the ring. He says there's going to be no... After his big build-up, there's going to be no rematch. Orange Cassidy shows up in the crowd, and they look at each other. Dumps orange juice on the whole crew. God bless, I don't know if it was Santana Ortiz who took that bump. God bless him taking that bump, because it made the spot as ridiculous as it should be. And Jericho continually pointing out how mad he was about the orange juice throughout the night was also good. This was the part that set this segment apart from a typical WWF/E, I spray him with the milk or I spray him with the beer, blah, blah, blah. And it's just a small comic timing thing that I really appreciate. Give me a towel! They give him a towel. He unfurls it, and it's an Orange Cassidy towel. Small stuff, but again, anything AEW can do to skin the cat in a little different way, I think is really great. And again, whoever took that bump, bless you. And whoever thought of giving Jericho the fucking Orange Cassidy towel, that was great. Alex Marvez, who we're going to see more than once tonight, which is unusual, is there interviewing, right? This fucking promo with the Jurassic Express absolutely sucked. It was fucking terrible. The Marco joke, awful. The thing Luchasaurus said about being 65 million years, this thing fucking blew. I dare say, of course it's fresh in my mind, but I would say the Seth Rollins promo from this last Raw was the worst promo of 2020 for any of the majors, and this one is second. It's really fucking terrible. It just didn't do anybody any favors. Fucking awful. God, it was fucking bad. Match number 3, though, we got Jurassic Express against Bucks and Omega. Hangman Page is shown drankin'. Okay. Split screen again. That insane... I didn't think I would see a Canadian Destroyer spot as crazy as that 8-person tag team cluster thing last week, which I thought was amazing. But this Canadian Destroyer in its own way was way more impressive and potentially dangerous, but certainly the Young Bucks know what they're doing, this kind of stuff, and Marco Stunt delivering that Canadian Destroyer off the top of the shoulders of the fucking thing. It thing was nuts. Fucking go find it. But you're going to see, this is the argument about diminishing returns, right? This spot was arguably more impressive because it happened in a ring. It eventually happened in the ring. There wasn't just a gaggle of people to catch and soften the blow. They fucking did it from God knows how high in the air. But it will not get the reaction that one did last week. AEW has to learn this about diminishing returns. Gotta give some air between things and let them breathe. Just saying. Omega kind of ratcheting it up and taking advantage of and destroying Marco Stunt was a cool idea for a finish. And then him throwing punches at Marco on the ground and having to be pulled away was also really interesting. And then I saw immediately a bunch of people like the return of the cleaner and all this kind of stuff. So again, getting attention, and this idea of faces are having to fucking get down and dirty, not necessarily cheating, but they're fucking brawling it up. We've seen it with Cody. We saw it with... I like it. Everything doesn't have to be a heel turn, but I like the idea of the action here is intense. It's a good way to be. Alex Marvez again with a promo by Shida, which I didn't really get. It's like, did it make Shida look bad? Not really. I think people will allow that for someone like Shida of getting through with the halted English. But I didn't think there was a lot to it. But Sheeta basically said, I'll take on Nyla anywhere. I'm like, oh, okay. But then I thought, oh, this is probably setting up Nyla's big announcement that, who her manager is going to be. But surely that's not going to be that big of a deal. I was wrong. But just put that out of your head for now. Commercial. Mox promo, very good. Again, people like this idea of he put over the story. Yeah, you said in your little segment about analyzing moves, again, Moxley putting over things that have happened, that they should continue, like this Taz move thing. They can't lose sight of the things that they're doing, especially when people are bringing it up in continuity. Very good, Moxley. And good for Taz. I'm gonna rip his bicep. That thing just got repaired. Put him on the shelf for 5 months. I'm gonna go after it. Wow. Very intense, very cool. Has now given us a story for the match. How can Mox possibly keep up with this motherfucker? Match number 4. And I immediately go like, oh boy. It's Brandy and Allie against Kenzie Page and MJ Jenkins. A fucking squishy squash. Britt Baker's there with her busted nose so they could talk about Big Swole. Okay, keep it in our mind's eye. No problems there. Brandy and Allie win. That's the long and short of it. Now Nyla Rose is going to speak to us. We go to commercial. The AEW figures commercial is worth noting here because that shit was fun as hell. Who put that commercial together? That was fun as shit. And they're promoting this before the figures come out next month. So they're getting in their ads a month in advance. Super pro style AEW. Really fun commercial. Nyla Rose announces who the manager is going to be. It's Vicky Guerrero. And Vicky Guerrero cuts a very serious promo. And it's great. And Nyla Rose has instantly been recovered. Between that and the fucking destruction squash they gave her last week. Nyla Rose has been restored. Lance Archer, not so sure. Then we get a bunch of promos before our main event. TNT title is going to be defended next week. Hangman Page. And what the fuck does this say? Oh, against 5 from the World Order, or from fucking World Order. What does that tell you? From the Dark Order. By the way, Hangman Page, who was drinking before, FTR showed up and they drank together. Dun, dun, dun. We'll have Ivelisse, who I think a lot of, who I've seen in Florida wrestle many times. She's great. She was even on Tattoo Nightmares. I missed that show as well. Against Diamante. Cool. MJF will be in action. That's good. Young Bucks against Butcher and Blade, which we set up tonight. Awesome. And Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy will take on Jericho and Jake Hager. Wow. So a very good show, not trying to be a pay-per-view quality for AEW next week. Good stuff. And now our main event, Brian Cage with Taz. We go to commercial. We start having commercials for the NBA, which is going to start having games in a couple weeks. And all I can think of is, what the fuck are they going to do when the NBA is going to have games on Wednesday nights? Man, wrestling is, boy. I'll say this, AEW hopefully has worked things out so they'll be in better shape, but I mean, Raw getting an all-time low number, getting TNA numbers, basically. Everybody's blood should be a little chilled in the wrestling business right now. Yeah, it's tough. Taz's promo on point, really great. Jon Moxley coming out with the Danny Havoc shirt. I saw it right away. I know some people might have gone like, he's got a Jimmy Havoc shirt? I would understand that. But no, it was for Danny Havoc. Fucking really great. They push the charity Fight for the Fallen, which is really good. Working on the left arm of Brian Cage is great. Brian Cage's selling is fucking not. The fucking selling of that arm just didn't happen, and then they would switch from right to left that they were working on. That part fucking bothered the shit out of me, because just simply selling that arm for Brian Cage even just acknowledging with a wince of the face as he picked up Moxley and used the arm, just all that kind of stuff should have fucking happened. And again, they need an adult in the room. You don't need a booker per se if that's not what you want. But man, fuck, dude. All I could do, I mean, I was screaming at the TV. I was fucking jumping up and down like I used to when I ran shows. Of somebody should have just, okay, what are you guys going to do? Make sure you're doing this, this, and this. It's small stuff, man, but fuck, it would have added so much to the presentation. I love the spot of Taz throwing in the towel for him, which saves Brian Cage from having to have it to submit it. I was wondering how they're going to get out of this, and it was a perfectly viable solution, especially when they let Brian Cage get his heat back by hitting him with the FTW belt, and then Darby Allin comes out and attacks Cage. I have no problems with any of that. That's all clever stuff, but again, the simple execution of things and making them look great would have gone a long way. Yeah, that's my major takeaways. So I still call for AEW to get an adult or two in the room. It would just make the presentation so much better. If you're going to continue to sign people and all that stuff, I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad about the effort that's getting put into AEW Dark. I think, and AEW cares. I just want them to have somebody there to like fucking direct traffic a little bit. Someone out of the box to, my God, all I could think of was when Eric Bischoff was having that interview with Tony Khan, was like, fucking please, not Eric fucking Bischoff. Someone who really gives a shit about what AEW is doing. Yeah. Anyway, this has been Stephen Platinum with Platinum versus Fight for the Fallen / Dynamite from the July 15th, 2020 show. Have a great week, everybody.